Good evening, everyone. Finding the lost you? I want to start by asking you a question. Have you ever felt lost? Like you've been running and running, only to realize you're not even as sure where you're headed anymore? Maybe you've looked in the mirror and thought, who is this person staring back at me? Maybe life has knocked you down so many times that getting back up feels like climbing a mountain without a rope. That you are not defined by your circumstances, past or losses, only by your choices. This truth is both liberating and empowering. It means that no matter what you've been through, no matter how many times you've stumbled, or how deeply you felt the sting of failure, you are not trapped. The world might try to label you. Your mistakes might try to define you. But the truth is, none of those things hold ultimate power over who you are or what you can become. What defines you is the choices you make in this moment and in the moments to come. Life has a way of throwing curveballs. Maybe you've lost a job, a relationship, or someone you deeply cared about. Maybe you've experienced rejection so profound that it feels like it's stitched into the fabric of your identity. Or perhaps it's not one big moment, but a series of small disappointments and setbacks that have worn you down over time. Whatever the case, it's easy to look at your circumstances and think, this is who I am now, but that's not true. Your circumstances are just a chapter in your story, not the whole book. People often cling to their past as if it's the only thing they have. They let their mistakes, failures, or traumas dictate their worth and limit their vision for the future. But the past is a place to learn from, not a place to live in. If you let your past define you, you're essentially handing over the pen to something you can't change. Instead, you have to take the pen back and decide how the rest of your story will unfold. Every choice you make is like a brushstroke on a canvas. You can't erase the parts that are already painted, but you can choose what colors and shapes come next. Some people might look at their losses and believe they are forever incomplete. They think, if only I hadn't failed. If only I hadn't lost that opportunity. If only things were different, but life isn't about what you've lost. It's about what you do with what you have. The people who rise above their circumstances aren't the ones who have everything handed to them on a silver platter. They're the ones who decide, even in the face of pain or loss, to keep moving forward. They choose resilience, they choose courage, they choose growth. When you understand that your choices, not your circumstances, define you, you take back control of your life. Even in the smallest decisions, there is power. Choosing to forgive instead of holding on to bitterness. Choosing to get back up after a failure instead of giving up. Choosing to take responsibility for your actions instead of blaming others. These choices, though they may seem small in the moment, shape who you are and who you're becoming. It's also important to recognize that circumstances change, but your power to choose remains constant. You might be in a storm right now, but storms don't last forever. You can't control every wave that crashes against you, but you can control how you respond. Will you let the waves pull you under, or will you swim against the current? It's not easy, but it's possible. The choice is always there, even if it's just the choice to keep going. Making empowering choices doesn't mean ignoring the reality of your pain or pretending that everything is okay when it isn't. It means acknowledging what you've been through, but refusing to let it dictate your future. It means looking at your circumstances and saying, this isn't the end of my story. It means believing that no matter where you've been, you still have the ability to move forward. Every day, every moment, you are presented with choices that have the power to reshape your life. Forgiving yourself is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward healing and moving forward in life. We often find it easier to forgive others than to forgive ourselves. The weight of our mistakes, the guilt of missed opportunities, and the shame of things we wish we could have done differently can become a heavy burden that keeps us stuck in the past. When we hold onto this guilt, we allow it to define us. But forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness, breaks that chain. It liberates us from the lies that we are unworthy, incapable, or unredeemable. We all make mistakes. It's a part of being human, but we can't let those mistakes define who we are or where we're going. When we hold on to guilt, we're essentially telling ourselves that we are not allowed to grow, that we are not worthy of a fresh start. We may even begin to believe that we don't deserve better, that we're stuck with the version of ourselves we've created through our past choices. But here's the truth: forgiving yourself is not about excusing what happened or pretending it didn't matter. It's about recognizing that your mistakes don't make you broken. It's about giving yourself permission to heal. Self-forgiveness starts with self-compassion. It requires you to look at yourself with the same understanding and kindness that you would offer a friend. We are often our harshest critics, expecting perfection and holding ourselves to impossibly high standards. But the truth is, nobody is perfect. We all stumble. We all fall short. The key is not to stay down, but to rise again, to treat yourself with kindness when you make a mistake rather than punishing yourself. Once you can begin to forgive yourself, you create space for growth and change. When you are constantly carrying the weight of your past, it becomes almost impossible to see the path ahead. But when you release that weight, you begin to open yourself up to new possibilities. You start to understand that you are not defined by your mistakes, but by the way you choose to move forward. The process of forgiveness also requires patience. You won't necessarily forgive yourself overnight. It may take time. But each small act of self-compassion, each moment where you choose to let go of the guilt, is a step toward freedom. Surrounding yourself with the right people is essential for growth, healing, and achieving your fullest potential. The people we choose to have in our lives play a significant role in shaping who we are and how we see ourselves. We are social beings, and our connections, whether family, friends, or mentors, can either lift us up or bring us down. If you want to find the lost you, it's crucial to intentionally surround yourself with individuals who inspire, support, and challenge you to be the best version of yourself. We stay in relationships that drain us or keep us in a state of stagnation. We may feel obligated to maintain these connections due to history, familiarity, or fear of loneliness. But if the people around you constantly bring negativity, doubt, or toxicity into your life, it becomes incredibly difficult to grow. You cannot thrive in an environment that doesn't nurture your potential. You need to seek out those who encourage you, who remind you of your worth even when you forget, and who are not afraid to tell you the truth when you need to hear it. Having the right people in your life means having people who believe in your dreams even when you can't believe in yourself. It means surrounding yourself with those who will push you forward even when the world feels like it's holding you back. This doesn't mean seeking perfection in others, but rather people who understand your values and want to help you align your actions with your true purpose. These people are not there to judge you, but to support you, encourage you, and stand by your side when the road gets tough. The right people will challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. They will push you to take risks and confront your fears, knowing that you have strength within you than you realize. These relationships may not always be easy, but they are the ones that will help you grow the most. They will hold you accountable, and in doing so, help you discover who you truly are and what you're capable of achieving. It's also important to remember that sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to remove people who are not helping you grow. It may be painful, but allowing negative influences to remain in your life will only hold you back from reaching your potential. You have the power to create a supportive and positive network of people who will walk with you as you find your way back to the best version of yourself. Taking one small step toward hope, purpose, and growth is often the hardest but most important decision you can make. When we feel lost or overwhelmed, the idea of making big changes or achieving major goals can feel impossible. The road ahead might seem too long, the challenge is too great, and the obstacles too insurmountable. But the truth is, transformation begins with the smallest of actions. It starts with deciding that even though the path may not be clear, you're willing to take that first step, no matter how small it may seem. It's easy to become paralyzed by the enormity of what's ahead, to look at the future and think, I'll never be able to do that. The fear of failure or uncertainty can stop us in our tracks, keeping us stuck in place. But waiting for the perfect moment to act or for all the pieces to fall into place will only keep us from moving forward. The reality is there is no perfect moment. There is only the present and the decision to move forward, no matter how imperfect or uncertain the path may seem. Taking that first step is a declaration of faith in yourself. It's saying, I may not have it all figured out right now, but I am willing to try. It's choosing to move even when you don't know exactly where the road will lead. This could mean reaching out for help, starting a new habit, or simply deciding to believe that you are capable of more than you've allowed yourself to think. That first step doesn't need to be grand or life-changing in itself, but it's the beginning of change. And that's what matters. One small action often leads to another. Once you take that first step, you create momentum. The fear that once felt so paralyzing begins to lose its grip, and you start to build confidence in your ability to move forward. As you make progress, however small, you begin to see that the journey isn't as daunting as it once seemed. You gain clarity, and the path ahead becomes a little more visible. Every step, no matter how small, is a victory. Every choice you make, no matter how insignificant it may feel, is a building block toward a future that you can't yet fully see, but that you know is worth moving toward. The key is not to let the magnitude of the journey stop you from taking the first step. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You don't need to have all the answers, all the resources, or all the support. You just need the courage to take that small step and trust that it will lead you to where you're meant to go. Every step counts, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the moment. What matters is that you keep moving forward. The darkest places often birth the greatest strengths. Life isn't always kind, and at times we find ourselves in situations that seem insurmountable. We experience pain, suffering, loss, and disappointment that leave us feeling broken and uncertain. But if we look closely, we can see that these very struggles have the potential to shape us into the strongest, most resilient versions of ourselves. It's in the moments of difficulty that our true strength is forged, and it's through the challenges we face that we discover a depth of character we didn't know we had. When we go through tough times, it's easy to believe that we are somehow less than we were before, that the damage has somehow become permanent. But in truth, challenges don't diminish us, they build us. It's through adversity that we learn our limits and push beyond them. The obstacles we face often force us to dig deeper, to find courage and strength that we didn't know were there. It's only by navigating through the hardest parts of life that we discover how resilient we truly are. Think about the process of transformation in nature. A diamond forms under intense pressure. A seed grows into a mighty tree through years of struggle beneath the soil. The very forces that seem to threaten our well-being can be the forces that shape us into something stronger. The pain you feel today, the setbacks, the hard touches may one day serve as the foundation of your greatest accomplishments. Without the hard times, we would never learn the value of perseverance, the power of resilience, or the depth of our own courage. Embracing the darkness doesn't mean resigning yourself to despair. It means acknowledging that, while life is difficult at times, there is always something to be gained from even the most painful experiences. The pain doesn't last forever. The lessons learned during the hard times will stay with you long after the struggle is over, and they will become the fuel that propels you forward. It's in these dark times that we also discover our true purpose. We find out what matters most to us, what we are willing to fight for, and what we are capable of when everything seems to be working against us. Challenges help us uncover the strength we didn't know we had, and as we face them head on, we grow more certain of our ability to overcome whatever comes next. Through the darkness, we learn to shine brighter. The strength you gain in the darkest of places will illuminate the path to your future. The real you is still here, waiting to shine brighter than ever before. Life has a way of making us doubt ourselves. We experience setbacks, rejections, and failures that can lead us to question who we are and what we're capable of. Over time, these doubts can cloud our sense of self, making us feel like we've lost the version of ourselves that once felt full of possibility and hope. But the truth is, that person, the real you, is still here. Beneath all the layers of fear, disappointment, and self-doubt, your true essence remains, ready to rise and shine brighter than ever. It's easy to believe that we are the sum of our failures or the mistakes we've made. When we face challenges, it can feel like they define us, like we're somehow less than we were before. We start to think that the person we were before the pain, the failure, or the setback is gone, replaced by someone unworthy or incapable. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The real you is still inside, and it has not disappeared. Life's difficulties may have shaped you, but they haven't diminished you. The real you is not defined by your past, your struggles, or your current circumstances. It's defined by your resilience, your ability to learn, and your willingness to keep moving forward. Every experience, every hardship, every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger, to discover deeper layers of your character, and to come closer to who you were always meant to be. Sometimes we need to go through the darkness to recognize the light that still burns within us. Even when we feel lost, the real you is still there waiting for you to reconnect with it. It may feel hidden beneath self-doubt, fear, or exhaustion, but that inner strength is still alive and ready to help you navigate whatever challenges come your way. You are not broken. You are a work in progress, constantly evolving and growing, but your core self, the person you truly are, is unshakable. When you allow yourself to rediscover the real you, begin to see yourself through a different lens. You stop focusing on your flaws and mistakes, and instead you begin to recognize your strengths and your potential. It's when you reconnect with the real you that you can truly shine, not because you are perfect, but because you have the courage to be authentic, to embrace your imperfections, and to live with purpose. The world hasn't seen the best of you yet. The real you is waiting to step forward and show up in ways you may have never imagined. Thanks for watching.